All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that is, let's be honest, surrounded by a ton of skepticism. Building serious, noticeable muscle on a completely plant-based diet. We're going to cut through all that noise, look at what the real science says, and give you a clear, actionable blueprint. Let's go.
So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the first thing people ask when you say you're building muscle without meat. And you know what? It's a fair question. For decades, the entire fitness world has basically hammered home this idea that muscle growth is directly tied to animal protein. But is that the whole story? What does the actual science have to say? Well, we're about to find out.
Okay, so our first mission is to solve what I call the plant protein puzzle. There is so much conflicting info out there, it's confusing. So we're going to tackle this thing head on and start separating those long-held beliefs from the cold, hard, verifiable facts.
I mean, come on. We've all met this person, right? Or at least heard some version of this. This quote just perfectly captures that common, sometimes well-meaning, but totally misinformed skepticism. It's this deep-seated idea that without meat, your muscles are just going to pack their bags and leave. And this is the exact myth we're here to challenge with actual data.
So to really get how to build muscle with plants, we've got to understand what protein even is on a basic chemical level. It's time to put on our lab coats for a second, crack the amino code, and get into the real science of it all.
Okay, so think of protein like a big, strong wall. Well, amino acids are the individual bricks that make up that wall. Simple enough. Now, there are about 20 different kinds of these bricks, but 9 of them, 9 are essential. And essential means your body literally cannot make them from scratch. You have to get them from the food you eat. No exceptions. These 9 little guys are the absolute foundation of everything.
And here, my friends, is where so much of the confusion started. For a long, long time, we've put proteins into 2 buckets. Complete, meaning they have all 9 of those essential bricks, and incomplete. Animal proteins, yep, they all fall into that complete category. But most plant proteins, they were labeled incomplete. And this little distinction led to one of the biggest myths in nutrition. And here it is. This is the big one. The idea that you have to sit there and meticulously plan out your rice and beans in the exact same meal to form a complete protein is totally outdated. It's a myth. Your body is way smarter than that. See, it maintains this pool of amino acids it can draw from. As long as you're eating a good variety of plant protein sources throughout the day, your body will grab the bricks it needs when it needs them.
Now, inside that pool of amino acids, there's one that's like the VIP of the group. Its name is leucine. I want you to think of leucine as the ignition key for your muscle-building engine. It's the specific amino acid that literally tells your body, hey, time to start muscle protein synthesis, which is just the fancy term for repairing and building new muscle. If you don't have enough leucine, that engine just never really gets going.
Okay, so we've busted the myths, we get the science, now it's time to get practical. This section, right here, is your personal blueprint. This is where we stop talking theory and start talking action by figuring out the exact numbers you need to hit.
This right here is the number that truly matters. A huge scientific review looking at 49 different studies with over 1,800 people found that for building muscle, the absolute sweet spot for protein is between 1.6 and 2.2 grams per kilogram of your body weight every single day. If you hit this range, you are maximizing your body's potential to grow.
So, what does that actually look like in the real world? Let's make it easy. As you can see, if you're around 154 pounds, that's 70 kilos, you're shooting for somewhere between 112 and 154 grams of protein a day. A bit heavier, say 198 pounds or 90 kilos, your target bumps up to between 144 and 198 grams. See? Now you have a concrete goal to aim for.
And hey, you can find your own personal range with this dead simple 3-step formula. Go ahead and do it right now. First, if you use pounds, just divide your weight by 2.2 to get kilograms. Then, take that number and multiply it by 1.6 for the low end of your goal and by 2.2 for the high end. Boom, that's it. That's your daily protein window for building muscle.
Awesome. So you know your target, but knowing it is one thing, hitting it is another. So let's build your arsenal. We're about to go through the high-powered plant-based foods that are going to be the backbone of your entire muscle-building plan.
Now, this isn't just a boring list. This is your menu for success. Seitan is an absolute protein monster. Tofu, tempeh, and edamame are soy-based powerhouses you can't ignore. Lentils and beans are cheap, effective, high-protein staples. And don't sleep on quinoa. It's one of the few plants that's a complete protein all by itself. Seriously, variety here is your single greatest weapon. So let's actually compare a few of these, side by side.
For every 100 grams you cook, extra firm tofu is a clear winner, packing in around 17 grams of protein. Lentils are fantastic too, coming in hot at about 9 grams. This is exactly why a little planning is key. A meal built around tofu is going to get you to your goal a whole lot faster than one based on quinoa, right? Okay, we've covered the theory, we've got the numbers, and we've got the foods. Now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle, the head-to-head showdown. This is where we put the plant-based approach to the ultimate test against the traditional omnivore diet and see what the clinical research really says.
And here it is, the knockout punch. A 12-week study published in the Journal of Nutrition took 2 groups of people and put them on a serious weight training program. One group ate a high-protein vegan diet. The other ate a high-protein omnivore diet. And here's the key. They made sure the total protein intake was the same for both groups. The result? The study found, and I'm quoting here, comparable rates of muscle growth. In plain English, they built the same amount of muscle, period.
So let's just make this crystal clear. When your total protein intake is high enough, the source of that protein, whether it's from an animal or from a plant, does not make a difference in your ability to get stronger and build muscle. The science is settled on this.
So we've established that for building muscle, it's a tie. The source doesn't matter if the quantity is right. But you know, outside of the gym, there is another huge difference that's worth thinking about: resource efficiency. Check this out. Getting your protein directly from plants is just a way more efficient process for the planet. It just adds another interesting layer to the whole conversation.
So, let's wrap this up. What are the 3 big things you need to walk away with? First, forget about that myth of combining proteins in every single meal. Just focus on eating a variety of sources throughout your day. Second, do the math. Find your personal target, 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight. And third, be confident. Be confident that the science shows a well-planned vegan diet can build muscle just as effectively as any other diet out there.
Look, at the end of the day, the evidence is pretty overwhelming. The limitations aren't in the plants themselves, they were in our old beliefs about them. The blueprint is clear, the science is solid, and the potential is completely in your hands. Your plate is an incredibly powerful tool. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?